Hi, I'd like to talk to you about holiness. I know this is a word that we hear often in our churches, and sometimes it might put us off a little bit. It seems like a very difficult word. It seems like it's a list of rules that we need to follow, or it just might seem a little stringent and maybe impossible for us to reach. And I would like to discuss holiness with you simply because the Father has called us to be holy, and He has made a way for us to be holy. And there is so much joy and so much beauty in walking out what God has prepared for us. And so I would like to begin with reading a few scriptures to you. I'm going to read 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 14, 15 and 16, and it says, "As obedient children, do not be conformed to the former lusts which were yours in your ignorance, but like the Holy One who called you, be holy yourselves also in all of your behavior, because it is written, you shall be holy, for I am holy." And then we read in chapter 2 of 1 Peter verse 9, and it says, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, people belonging to God, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who has called you out of darkness into His marvelous light." And I want to touch on what holy means, and then in later episodes we can discuss what holiness looks like in deeds, in thought, and in our language. And so I would like to discuss holiness. Like I said earlier, it just seems like a very heavy and lofty word. Be holy, for I am holy. One of the things that I finally discovered in my journey of understanding what holiness is and what the Father is asking of us when He states that we should be holy, for He is holy, it always seems so lofty for me. But I've discovered that simply what means to be holy is to be separate, to be purposed for a reason, or for a time frame, or for a moment. And the easiest way that I can describe it, that I've come to understand it for myself, is when you're making a budget, or when I'm making a budget for myself, I allot certain amount of money for different things that I either want to accomplish, what I'm saving towards, or what I'm paying towards, and I have allotted that amount for each specific purpose. When the Father calls us to be holy, firstly, what He's doing simply is allotting our life for a purpose. When He's calling you to be holy, He's telling you, I've already allotted your life for a certain purpose. He's not asking you to meet this standard of rigidness and perfectness that is impossible for humanity to reach. What I do love about the Father when He is calling us to be holy, He's calling us to come up, is that Jesus already made a way for you and I to be holy. And it's not by anything that we can actually do. It's by the blood of Jesus. It is the blood of Jesus that makes us holy, because He makes us whole. He removes all the blemishes from our spirit. He forgives all our wrongs. He makes us holy. So it's not like you and I have to behave a certain way to try to earn holiness, or check off a list of perfectedness, a requisition list that we are required to meet. We simply have to accept what Jesus has done on the cross for us, that He has already shed His blood so that you and I may be called to be holy, a holy people, a royal priesthood, people who are separate unto God, which means we belong to Him. He has allotted our life for the purposes of making, let's read it to you, of proclaiming the excellencies of Him who has called you and I out of darkness into His marvelous light. So when the Father is inviting you to be holy because He is holy, He's not inviting you to live this rigid lifestyle of this list that you have to check off in order to meet the standard. That is not what He is talking about. He is talking about being holy, recognizing that He's already called you to come out, to be separate, to be His. And out of that, out of the stepping out, He called Abraham out. He said, come out from your family, come out from your nation. He was calling him out to be holy, to be separate. And so today, I want to invite you to step into joy by knowing that when the Father has called you out to be holy, it is not an undue burden that He has placed on you. In fact, it is a freedom that He is giving you when He calls you to be holy. He's not asking you to meet this rigid standard. He is simply inviting you to walk into what He has already prepared for you. He's prepared a way for you to come out and be holy and separate unto Him. And what a joy it is when we finally discover that it's not by our deeds, that it's not by our goodness, that it's not about how well we behave. It's not about the perfect words that we speak or all of the errors that we were able to avoid. It's not by any of that, but it is by the grace of God. It is by the blood of Jesus that we are able to say, I am holy, because the Father has made it to be so through His blood, through the blood of His Son, Jesus Christ. And so let's step into joy, knowing that all we have to do is say, yes, Lord, I will be holy because you have called me. You have made me your royal priesthood. You have made me a chosen people. You have made me a holy nation. You have made me your own possession. Let's step into joy.